So really cool news for a filmmaker who is relatively new and that I quite appreciate. She saw her first film premiere at Sundance, and she actually got the Criterion Collection treatment, which is kind of cool. And she did the Fugue, which was at the Critics Week, I think 2 years later. So we're speaking about Agnieszka Smoczynska. I probably mispronounced her name, but anywho, it's the filmmaker for The Lure. And she's boarded a project that she was sort of in the early stages of financing. And she's setting sail fairly soon as they announce some casting news. But also we get a sense of the production team as well. So the Silent Twins, you read up on the premise slightly. So yeah, what are your expectations for this book to film project?
It's a fascinating story. So we should say that Letitia Wright and Tamara
Lawrance,
they're leading the picture. It's about twin sisters who essentially refuse to speak to anyone else, and they develop their own language. They don't talk. They refuse to talk to anyone else. And I guess you can look it up on Wikipedia, and we'll get into quote unquote spoilers. But their life goes down some very interesting roads. The film speaks a little bit to the immigrant experience, to mental health issues. So it's a fascinating new direction for the filmmaker, and one that brings her probably to a bigger audience.
So perhaps it'll harken back to that special chemistry that we saw with the two actresses in The Lure. That special connection, especially if they're in their own isolated world amongst a populace. I think it's a curious a casting choice. I was wondering if you could delve more into what you think about that on-screen chemistry.
They're both rising actresses. It's a story from a very unique perspective, not just about twins, but also about people of color navigating their way. They're already sort of marginalized, and then you add an extra layer on top of that. So that's going to be something fascinating from a thematic level to play with. So there's a lot of potential. And again, a fascinating story. And it'll be interesting to see how it develops and plays out.
So we have on board, from the producer team, we have Anita Gao, who was one of the people on The Farewell. And we have one of the producers for High Life. So it comes with some auteur cred clout, if you want to call it that. But also it's fun to see a filmmaker less than a decade into her filmmaking career already jumping into an English language project, perhaps bigger budgeted, and probably shoot in the US perhaps sometime this summer. It wasn't mentioned in the trade, but just really refreshing to see a filmmaker get this many chances at bat.
She's established her voice. I think this film will continue to speak to her unique perspective. That's the nice thing. I think she's moving to a bigger canvas, maybe slightly, but I think the story is still very true to the sort of things as a filmmaker that she's interested in. So
maybe some Josephine Decker qualities there or something.
Perhaps, yeah.
Hey, this is Eric from IndieSponge. Check us out every Friday.